Hello everyone and welcome to Blaugrana Everything, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a match review as we take a look at FC Barcelona's quarterfinal win against Real Sociedad in the Copa del Rey. FC Barcelona, of course, beating Sociedad by a solitary goal to nil, that goal being scored by none other than Ousmane Dembeles. Quite a wonderful finish, if I should say so myself. Anywho, this is a match review, so as usual I'm going to be taking you through the tactical setup from both teams. Then I'm going to go into my negatives and positives from the performance, and I will give my team ratings as well as Xavi's rating or the manager's rating for the match before giving you my man of the match as well. So if this is your first time tuning in here and you enjoy what you're seeing, then please do feel free to hit that like button and also hit subscribe, join this family that's always growing. We're inching towards 3K. Yeah, I would like us to be moving faster, but we're still going to get there. Slow and steady wins the race, and that's more or less what we'd say about Barca's performance. In a way, we'll get to that anywho, but let's talk tactical setup first of all. FC Barcelona set up in a 4-3-3 formation. It was that back four again, which we said should be starting in all the big matches. Well, we saw that back four starting here. Araujo, Koundé, Christensen and Baude, front of Marc Andre Ter Stegen with Pedri, Busquets, Frenkie de Jong and Gavi in that midfield area, and Lewandowski and Ousmane Dembeles up front. On the other hand, Real Sociedad set up in a 4-3-1-2, which in essence was working more like a 4-1-2-1-2, with a diamond in the midfield area. They had Alex Ramiro in goal, and the back four of Rico, Lenormand, Zubeldia, Elustondo. The midfield four of Mendes, Bryce Mendes, who stupidly got himself sent off, Martin Zubimendi, Pablo Marin, and Takefusa Kubo, with Alexander Sholoff and Mikel Oyarzabal starting up front. So, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk some negatives and some positives. And of course, I'm going to start with some negatives. Now, this was a match that FC Barcelona won by a solitary goal, like I've pointed out, but really they should have had more. So you can guess what the first negative is going to be. As usual, it's our good old friend, wasteful finishing, wasting chances, not taking chances, however you want to put it. It happened again here. Honestly speaking, the one chance FC Barcelona did score from is probably the one chance that they had no business scoring from whatsoever. Ousmane Dembeles was honestly a spectacular finish, but we'll get to that later on. Aside from that, we saw a lot of guilty chances that were missed here. Gavi was unlucky enough to hit the crossbar, but then you had like Frenkie de Jong, Franck Kessié failing to convert when they had really very good opportunities to do so. And at the end of the day, it just wasn't good enough finishing from FC Barcelona, and you're hoping that we could just get a consistent run here, right? We've been moving from playing well in front of goal, that is finishing well, to not finishing well. The only consistent thing has been our defense, and it's thanks to our defense that we got this win in this case. But before we go there, we talk about the next negative, which in this case for me was Xavi's game management. It's pretty awkward, to be quite honest, that when Xavi makes certain substitutions, the game just wildly swings from one end to the other, from being in Barcelona's control to being in the control of the opposition. We saw that here once again when Xavi Hernandez took off a certain Ousmane Dembeles, because up until Ousmane Dembeles was subbed off, Real Sociedad barely had a peek at FC Barcelona's goal. Marc Andre Ter Stegen didn't need to make a save. All his saves happened after Dembele came off, and suddenly Sociedad were no longer scared of Barcelona on the counter-attack. They felt free, and they moved forward with really what was some reckless abandon, I'd like to say, because it almost led to them conceding a late second goal. Anywho, we can go ahead now and talk some positives, and the first positive, it has to be the defense. All of the defense, starting from the goalkeeper to that back four in front of him. What a performance from them once again, solid as you would expect. We've been saying now for a minute on this channel that this should be Barcelona's starting defense for any match that matters, and it was here, and they showed once again why they should be the starters, because they delivered. I will admit that I had hoped maybe Iñaki Peña would start in goal for this one, because he's kind of our cup keeper, and when you don't get to play your cup keeper here, it's But yeah, at the end of the day, this is a competition. Xavi is desperate to win, I guess. He needs to get that trophy with that silverware. So Ter Stegen starts here, and as much as he wasn't needed for much of the match, he was definitely called into action during those last 10 minutes, and he made two very, very good saves, one of which admittedly was as a result of a slip up on his part. He gave the ball away with a careless pass trying to play out the back. Second of those saves was really top class, and it's really what sealed the win for FC Barcelona. My second and last positive is the fact that FC Barcelona did dominate this game. I said that up until the 83rd minute, Real Sociedad didn't really give Barcelona much to worry about. Of course, a huge turning point in this was that Brais Mendes sending off, which, once he was sent off and Barcelona really started putting the pressure on Sociedad, I kind of just had that feeling like Barca would get that goal which they need. I was definitely sure it would come in the second half. If you weren't sure, do not worry. I was sure for both of us that FC Barcelona were going to score in that second half, and that's exactly what they did. Just 7 minutes into the second half, when Ousmane Dembeles gets the ball from Jules Koundé, and the rest is, just brilliance, historical brilliance. And it was definitely going with the run of play. FC Barcelona did deserve to have that goal, because FC Barcelona did actually dominate this game. Just, look at the XG, look at the shots, the chances that would, look at the shots taken, especially the ones on target. And you could see the story is pretty plain to see. FC Barcelona did a very good job here of dominating this game. That, of course, owes much to how Xavi set up. He set up correctly. He anticipated what Golazo would try to do, and he came up with a brilliant countermeasure, which I have to probably mention here now that Xavi Hernandez has won every one of his matches against Emmanuel Golazo so far. And Golazo is a highly rated manager. I should just put that out there. Anyway, let's go ahead now and talk team rating. So what am I giving here for the team? Obviously, finishing chances is a big part of what the team is supposed to do, scoring goals, just as much as stopping yourselves from conceding goals is a big part of that as well. So on the stopping ourselves from conceding goals front, I'll probably give our defenders here 10 out of 10, even though Xavi did have to make some weird changes there towards the end, bringing on Marcos Alonso for Christensen, which, unless it was for injury, I'm not really sure why you would do that when you're trying to, bunker down and just defend a 1-goal lead. But yeah, the defense was definitely 10 out of 10 today. The offense, though, especially the finishing parts, because we were definitely creating chances. Because we're not finishing them off, the offense was more like a 6 out of 10. So if we get the average of those two, that's more like an 8 out of 10 for the team. So yeah, that's what I'm going to give them here. 8 out of 10, maybe even 7. Because, I have to be all shrewd and stingy with my grades. Okay, next up we're getting Xavi's grade, and Xavi is going to get a 7 out of 10 here again. Once again, it's his game management which lets him down. I feel like Xavi really struggles with knowing when to make changes and who to make those changes, like which changes to make, who to pull off and who not to pull off. I could tell you in this game, the way Ousmane Dembeles was playing, you did not want him to leave that pitch, especially since against Getafe he did get, kind of sort of a rest. So you definitely wanted him to be on this pitch as long as possible. And it's pretty telling that when Xavi Hernandez subbed him off, obviously things just went south. The Pedri substitution was of course forced because of an injury worry, and you don't want to risk him by leaving him out there longer than you need to. So that was, I wouldn't fault him for that. But the substitution to take off Dembele and the substitution as well, bringing on Marcos Alonso, I didn't exactly see the point of any of those changes. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for Xavi Hernandez. Finally, we get to the man of the match. And if it's not already obvious by now, you probably should have guessed that I went with Ousmane Dembeles. honestly speaking, he was the X factor in this game in particular. You got Lewandowski on the pitch, you had Gavi, you had Pedri, you had all these other guys, and he really stood out more than everybody else, which is like, saying something, because he was really on one today. Like, he was really on one last night, put it that way. He turned up, and every time that he was getting on the ball, he was really just unplayable. And I wasn't sure if I was watching, Ronaldinho or Dembele, with how much joy I was getting seeing him on the ball, seeing him taking on players and just breezing past them like they're not there. So this was once again a brilliant performance here by Ousmane Dembele, and I think is very, very deservedly the man of the match for FC Barcelona in this game. Alrighty then, that is that, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like, is there anything that you think I left out from my negatives or my positives? And who was your man of the match? Thank you for tuning in once again. Have a great day, and Forza Barça.